Ghost of Tsushima will definitely go down as one of the biggest surprises of 2020, and to me, it is a certain Game of the Year nominee. Sucker Punch has fully captured the art of the samurai, an unbelievably beautiful Japan to explore, and lastly make an interesting character of Jin Sakai, a samurai who must put behind his honor in order to save the people of Japan by a brutal villain who cares very little of that honor. And this all has heavy weight to it, making for one hell of a game. Now before we continue, I want to give a mild spoiler warning. While I will not show the ending of the game, I will definitely vaguely mention something from it. Besides that, a lot of footage you'll see here are from nearly all points of the game. With that out the way, let's get on with the video. When it comes to gameplay, Sucker Punch absolutely destroyed this. I cannot recall the last time I enjoyed gameplay this much. I would probably have to say PS4 Spider-Man, but when it comes to this year in game releases, Ghost of Tsushima destroys all other releases so far this year, and any game planned to come out so far, the bar is going to be set so high for them. I'll start by mentioning that I do not want to see an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan. Why, you may ask? Well, because I think that it's impossible for Ubisoft to match Sucker Punch. In many ways, this is a fully involved Assassin's Creed game. It maintains the combat flow seen from Assassin's Creed 2 through Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Combat is quick and satisfying, but not as easy, and at times can be very punishing. It's a great hybrid of the old Assassin's Creed games and the new ones, specifically Odyssey and Origins. And I would even argue that in many ways is what fans of Assassin's Creed wanted to see Ubisoft evolve towards. Now when it comes to the details of the combat, it's a beautiful art to learn. Once you become comfortable with the combat, the power you feel is a very nice feeling, especially when you embrace the ghost persona. Being an absolute beast when fighting enemies, as well as them becoming fearful of you due to the ghost legend, makes for some very satisfying feelings. In many ways, Jin Sakai is the feudal Japan version of Batman. Now we will get more into this later in the video, but imagine a samurai version of Batman. It's quite awesome. Now one minor critique to all this would be the boss battles. They felt very repetitive in terms of mechanics. However, I see this as a cost of being very historically accurate to the time period. If I was to rate how great the gameplay is, I'll just simply tell you that there is no other game that will give you so much power and satisfaction while at the same time making the learning process hard and rewarding. Continuing with the Assassin's Creed comparisons, the open world in this game was stunning and beautiful to explore. I love this open world as much as I love the world in Odyssey. With the world being bright, colorful, and even relaxing to explore, it's going to be hard to put the game down. This open world is so beautiful, it makes in most cases side quests tolerable, as well as makes other missions so much better. My favorite example was the Mythic Tale in the second area. Not only were these 7 Ronin giving me heavy Naruto vibes with similarities to the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. Now I will admit these guys weren't ninjas, I just felt a Naruto connection, but I may be reaching a little bit to be honest. They had awesome and emotion-filled fights that were paired with incredible scenery, making for a cinematic, beautiful, and intense fight. Pretty much all boss fights feel like this with the exception of one. You'll know when you're there because you might forget you're in a boss fight. One thing Sucker Punch should be given credit for is the lack of a HUD. And while this HUD is a very minimum HUD, instead of a minimap they use colors, places that stand out in the distance, and even the wind. All of this made easy to understand, making for a very immersive experience. The world also felt incredibly massive. While I'm not sure technically how big it was, it certainly felt like it was the right size for the game. The last point I want to make about the world is that Sucker Punch needs to be celebrated for this world. It makes you question whether you need a next-gen console, while at the same time getting you excited about what this world would look like when built for a next-gen console. After finishing the main story, I will admit, I wasn't expecting a story like this. It starts off very plain and simple, with a very simple Jin Sakai trying to use a code that has now failed the people of Tsushima. The Khan, or the main villain, has learned everything about the samurai, from their fighting style and most importantly, their way of life. Their honor wasn't something to be feared, it made them very predictable in his eyes. But that is until the Ghost is born. This is where the Batman comparison is now made. Under the code of the samurai, honor is a requirement, whether it's facing your opponent head on or by the methods of fighting. Similar to the world of Batman, this code of the samurai failed the people of Tsushima. Like the law and order of Gotham City, from the failure of a system comes an outlaw, a vigilante. For Gotham City, it was Batman. For the island of Tsushima, it was the Ghost. Just like Batman is feared by the criminals in Gotham, the Ghost is feared by the Mongols and the bandits. We see Jin struggle with this persona. He knows that only the Ghost can defeat the Mongols, but his path down this dishonorable way of life is not welcome from the shonen, and even Jin's uncle. As Jin's uncle pushes him to the code of the samurai, the destruction of the Mongols are pushing Jin to the side of the Ghost. This makes this story more about player choice, specifically becoming his own person, or as the stories of old go, making him a legend. Now I hope you guys enjoyed this little video essay. Ghost of Tsushima is by far my favorite game to come out this year. If you guys have yet to experience this game, I really recommend picking up this game. It's such a great game, from gameplay to a very emotional and even Batman-like story. I can almost guarantee you'll enjoy it. If you're also a fan of the old Assassin's Creed games, then this is most certainly your cup of tea. And in regards to videos like this, I plan to do them every Tuesday around a 7 p.m. release drop Eastern Standard Time. So if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more videos like this, definitely drop this video a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'm still working out the style of these videos. You know, these new video essays are pretty new to me. It's something I want to get into. I love editing, I love writing and stuff like that. But obviously, with time, I will certainly find the style I want to do. Until next time, guys, Challenge here, and I'm out.
"我が身